Hooked on Books with Mrs. Griffiths. Today I am going to read a story called The Witch Who Loved to Make Children Cry. And it's by Dennis Bond and it's illustrated by Valerie Patrone. So, if you're sitting comfortably, let's get reading. In a cottage, deep in a dark forest, lived a witch. She was a nasty old witch. She loved to make children cry. As the witch flew across the playground on her magic broomstick, she saw children playing. "I'll go and spoil their fun," cackled the witch. "That'll make them cry." The witch loved to make children cry. The children were laughing excitedly as they went round and round on the huge roundabout. The witch peered through the railings at them and cackled loudly. Then she pointed a long, bony finger at them. Suddenly, the roundabout began to speed up. It went much faster, very fast, far too fast. "Help!" cried the terrified children as they clung on tightly. "We're going to fall off!" Round and round went the roundabout, round and round and round. Much, much later, when the roundabout had finally stopped, the children staggered off. They were all feeling very sick. One small boy was crying. "Goody, goody, goody!" laughed the witch. "That was great fun!" The children angrily shook their fists at the witch, who whooshed into the air on her broomstick. "She's always spoiling our fun," grumbled a little girl. Later that week, all the children gathered at the top of the hill for the kite competition, and all of the kites floated and danced in the gentle breeze. The little girl laughed excitedly. "Ours is the best kite here," she said. "It most certainly is," agreed the judge as she strolled towards the children, carrying a shiny silver cup in her hand. She wanted to give the cup as a prize to the children who'd made this beautiful kite. "Well done, children," the judge shouted. "That must have first prize. It's the best kite here." "It was the best kite here," cackled the witch as she hovered overhead on her broomstick. Then she pointed a long, bony finger into the air. The gentle breeze suddenly turned into a strong gust of wind, startling everyone. And as all the children were lifted off their feet, they clung desperately to their kite strings. "Oh no, it's the witch again!" screamed the small boy. When the wind finally dropped, everyone stared at the broken kite strings. There was no sign of any of the kites. They'd all been blown away. The children burst into tears, which pleased the witch enormously. "Please go away," pleaded the little girl. "Why are you doing this to us?" "Ah, have I made you cry? Goody, goody, goody! I love to make children cry." And she zoomed off into the distance. The next day, the witch perched in a tree in the children's garden. She watched them having a great time in their blow-up paddling pool. "I'll soon spoil their fun," she grinned as she pointed her long, bony finger at the paddling pool. Bang! Tss! went the paddling pool as it burst and went down. The water and the children tumbled out onto the lawn. "It's that witch again!" yelled the little girl. "Why doesn't she leave us alone?" added the small boy. The witch followed the children everywhere. She followed them to the park and watched them from the bushes as they spread out their picnic. "I hope she doesn't spoil our fun today," said the small boy as he nibbled on a peanut butter sandwich. The witch pointed her long bony finger towards the bright blue sky. Suddenly, a large black cloud appeared. With a flash of lightning and a crack of thunder, rain fell from the cloud, soaking the children and their crisps and their cakes and their peanut butter sandwiches. The children hurried across the park carrying their picnic things. Everyone except the little girl. She was crying. She was very, very angry. "We've got to stop her," she shouted. The witch watched them. "Ah, they're crying again," she said softly. Then she laughed. "Goody, goody, goody." The children sheltered under the old bandstand, waiting for the rain to stop. They saw the witch leaning over the railings of the duck pond. She was happily feeding the ducks. The witch didn't like children, but she liked ducks. When the witch turned around, she was horrified to see her broomstick had gone. She ran along the banks of the duck pond, scaring the ducks and the geese and the swans. "Where is it?" she screeched. "Where is it?" The children sat in the bushes, giggling and watching the witch, who was frantically searching the rubbish bins for her lost broomstick. She looked very upset. "Serves her right," said the little girl, who was clutching the magic broomstick in her hand. When the witch saw the park keeper sweeping the path with his very own broomstick, she rushed at him angrily. "You've pinched my broomstick!" she yelled. "Give it back or I'll turn you into a frog!" The terrified park keeper immediately handed it to her. He didn't want to be a frog. The witch wanted to go home, but the broomstick wouldn't fly. She tried leaping with it from the treetops, but first she landed in the duck pond. Then she landed in the sandpit. Finally, she landed in a great pile of smelly, squelchy manure. The very sad witch had to travel home on the number 19 bus. She was very wet, and she was covered in sand and smelly, squelchy manure. Everyone stared and pointed at the strange, scruffy old woman. One old man held his nose. "Ew, what a terrible pong," he said. Back in the cottage, in the dark forest, the witch was getting ready for bed. "My broomstick has lost its magic," she said. "I'll never be able to do witchy things again." And she burst into tears. Early next morning, the little girl, feeling very ashamed, arrived at the witch's door. Her dad was with her. "I'm sorry," said the little girl. "It's wrong to steal, so I've brought your broomstick back. But you really did upset us." The witch's face lit up. "Thank you for bringing it back," she said. "Thank you. Goody, goody, goody." That weekend, the children were riding on the very old merry-go-round horses at the fairground. Suddenly, they heard a loud whoosh and a high-pitched cackle. Then they gasped in horror as they saw the witch zoom down from the sky. "Oh no," sighed the little girl. "Here we go again. Please, please, please," cried the small boy. "Go away! Leave us alone!" The witch grinned, cackled again, and pointed her long, bony finger at the merry-go-round. Suddenly, the horses turned into spaceships and flying saucers. They left the merry-go-round and sped upwards, where they whooshed and vroomed through the sky, miles above the fairground. "Whee!" shrieked the children excitedly. "This is magic!" And "whee!" went the witch as she joined them, riding on a lightning bolt. "Whee! I never knew my magic could be such fun!" The children and the witch had a wonderful time as they zoomed and vroomed across the sky. They laughed and laughed and laughed. At the end of the day, as they all tucked into enormous, magic-sized ice creams, the witch said sweetly, "I love to make children laugh." And as the delicious ice cream dribbled down her hairy chin, she sighed softly, "Goody, goody, goody." So that was called The Witch Who Loved to Make Children Cry by Dennis Bond. I hope you enjoyed it. Take care and I'll see you soon. Bye.